Hey y'all, and we're back ready to talk about that good old nutrition. So when it comes to nutrition, people seem to have a hard time figuring out how to eat in the best way to yield the best results. Well, first thing I'd like to say again, I am not a nutritionist, I am not a dietitian, I am not a doctor. I am only giving you advice based on what I've learned through good old YouTube University. So if you have medical conditions or questions about anything in this video, please feel free to do your own independent research or ask your doctor before you embark on a plan that you think may not necessarily be the healthiest considering where you are. But I want to say, first and foremost, when it comes to nutrition, it's probably best to be plant-based, right? Plants, fruits, vegetables, all of those things break down so well into our body. And that's why when you go plant-based, you see so many great results as far as weight loss and being fit and having energy are concerned. Now, I'm not plant-based, not for any particular reason, but I don't feel the need to be plant-based. And if I do, that's what I'll do. So nutrition is really easy. Managing your taste buds is what's hard. Because we have been exposed to sugary foods, good tasting, fatty foods, all those processed foods, that's what our mind and our taste buds are used to. So when we get hungry, that's what we tend to go to for nutrition. Cutting out all unnecessary carbs. And when I say unnecessary carbs, junk food, chips, cakes, candies, all of those things are not for nutrition and are to be eaten sparingly. And when I say sparingly, I really do mean sparingly, not once a week, not once every other week. It really should be once a month that you indulge in something that's totally processed, that's not going to give you any nutrient value, and you're only doing it strictly for the taste. You should be eating for health. That doesn't mean that your food needs to taste nasty. It doesn't mean that you can't season your food. You just have to be careful with what you put in your food and how you cook your food. So let's talk about proteins. Proteins are sometimes plant-based, like beans and legumes. Also, they can be meats or poultry or seafood. So when you're eating meat, poultry, seafood, even when you're eating beans and legumes, it's best to make sure that your food is organic. No additives have been added to the food. No sprays have been sprayed on the food. The food is deemed clean by the USDA. Can we say that that is 100% true? No, but we're buying on the premise that the food is totally clean. When you eat your beef, you need to have grass-fed beef. And it's best if you can say the beef was roaming free, was able to have time to be out in the field. It wasn't raised in a cage or raised in a barn only. The beef needs to be antibiotic free and grass-fed. So organic, grass-fed is always the go when you're dealing with any kind of beef. So that's ground beef, steak, roast, any of those items need to be organic, grass-fed, antibiotic-free. When it comes to your poultry, same thing. Organic feed, especially with chickens, they need to be cage-free, because a lot of those chickens are raised in these barns, in these, eating this corn-fed feed and being injected with antibiotics. Whatever they eat, you eat. Even when you cook it, it's still in the meat. So make sure that any poultry that you buy and any poultry byproducts, so eggs, need to be cage-free, organic. It doesn't mean that you have to spend top dollar. I buy majority of my household items for eggs, milk, cheese, stuff like that. I buy at places like Walmart. I do buy my proteins, like my beef, my poultry, and my seafood at Whole Foods, because there's no other place that has really an organic option around here. So if you have a grocery store, your regular grocery store has organic grass-fed beef, cage-free raised poultry, including the eggs, and have seafood sourced from places that are clean. Don't worry about writing any of this down. I will include it in the email, but it's very important that you know where your protein comes from. So we've gotten proteins down. Let's talk about how you would cook your proteins or cook your vegetables. Again, organic proteins. When we cook our proteins, that's what takes them from being clean to unclean. And when I say unclean, when we fry chicken or cook foods in oils that are foreign to the body, vegetable oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, all of those oils, one, if you're going to use them, should definitely be organic, but two, are foreign to the body. So that's why you have all that inflammation in your body. Your body doesn't know how to process that stuff, and your body and your gut biome react negatively to those types of fats, because that's what those are. So we're talking about fats here. So when you're cooking your food, you need to make sure that the fats that you're eating are clean. So butter is okay to use as a fat, as long as it's clean and organic. Extra virgin olive oil is okay to use. Avocado oil, while expensive, still a fruit. Both of these things are a fruit, right? So they are not foreign to your body. Your body knows how to process those things. Your body knows how to use those things for fuel. Even though you're using fats, be careful. Don't use too many fats in your body, because if you don't burn those as fuel, you'll start to feel bad in your body because those fats are going rancid, sitting around, not being burned. So always make sure that you're using the adequate amount for what you're cooking. And you stick to things that are plant-based. So fruits and vegetables. So we've gotten proteins together. We've talked about fats. Now let's talk about carbs. So almost everything else is a carb. Even the healthy foods are carbs. And it's okay to eat the healthy carbs, like the sweet potatoes, broccoli, kale, collard greens, oranges, apples, bananas. All of those things are good for you and provide nutrients into your body. You just have to make sure you're not overeating the sugary good foods. Fruit, sweets are all glucose, and some fruits do have fructose in it. Glucose is the body's #1 main source of fuel. The body loves to be fed with glucose. It loves to be fed with carbs. It's very efficient in burning energy with carbs. The thing is when we don't exercise or we overeat anything, even if it's good carbs, like the fruit, it's really hard to overeat veggies because veggies are so low in carbs, but fruits are very high in carbs, especially fruits like bananas, pineapples, melons. And the thing about those type of foods is that they spike your insulin, right? They spike the glucose level in your blood, making you feel hungrier, so you're not satiated. So you have to make sure you're eating those foods in smaller quantities. Now, what happens when you overeat sugars, and we don't want to demonize food, and we don't want to demonize fruit, most definitely. But when you overeat like chips and sodas and candy, those things build up in your body they build up in your liver and you start to get that pot belly. And they call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So fat deposits, which are sugar that you didn't use, are now in your liver like little cubes or little specks, and that causes your belly to protrude. Like people are like, I want to lose my stomach. I want to lose my stomach. I can't lose this stomach. You can't lose this stomach because you need to get that fat out of your liver, which means reducing carbohydrates in your diet, especially those that spike your insulin. So when you're eating fruit, I would eat fruit in the evenings, not in the morning, accompanied with something like a full fat yogurt. Full fat yogurt helps you feel full, so when it's combined with that fruit, it's not spiking your insulin and making you as hungry. Don't worry about all these little things. In the grocery list that I provide and the menu sample that I provide, and I also have a video on a day in the life of me in a day eating, it will guide you in order to get your eating plan all the way together. So in my intermittent fasting video, I mentioned what to eat when you break your fast. So when you break your fast, your stomach is very sensitive, and if you just eat any old thing, it will make you feel nauseous, which is not what we want to do. We want to feel good. We don't want to feel nauseous. Also, we want to get all of our nourishment in. So being nauseous may preclude us from eating all of our meals, and we won't feel strong. So reiterating, when I break my fast usually with a protein drink. Not saying that you have to break your fast with a protein drink. Maybe something like yogurt or a smoothie to coat my stomach and prepare it for the next meals. Also, when I break my fast with a protein drink, and I showed you guys I believe, or maybe I didn't, not yet, something like some nuts. Hold on, let me show you what I use. So I have this trail mix here. So this trail mix, which is organic, that I get from Whole Foods, I use the serving size of that along with, I love this particular protein drink on. It's vegan, it tastes good, it's low in carbs, and it has a lot of good things in it from you. It's plant-based as well. So when you're breaking your fast, you need to make sure that you're making the environment in which all the next food that comes into your body easy to digest, so you can get all your meals in. Some of the other things that I have in my diet is apple cider vinegar, cinnamon, and lemon. I usually in the morning will have that combined with 16 ounces of warm water before I break my fast. It will keep me from feeling hungry. Also, the ACV along with the lemon and the cinnamon helps regulate your blood sugar so you don't feel hungrier, and it pushes you deeper into a fasted state. I also am a black coffee drinker. I usually have the coffee when I get up in the morning after I've had my good old agua, that good old hydration. First thing in the morning, you should drink straight out of the bed 8 ounces of water. But I drink the black coffee, one, for energy because I do fasted workouts, and it also helps curb your appetite. So I also want to show you one more thing in the toolkit. Food scale. So on this plan, we are not counting calories, but we do need to make sure that we are in a calorie deficit, and that will do with the intermittent fasting, but we don't want to overeat. So when you buy items in bulk like this, I know they had some individual packs, but the individual packs calorie content was too high for me, and I didn't want to have to like take things out and then put it in another baggie. Anyway, all that aside, I keep my handy dandy food scale to make sure that I'm only eating the serving size or something, or if I want to eat 3 of the serving size of something, I want to make sure I measure that out. One more thing in the back. I also use maca powder and MCT oil for energy for post-workout boost. Like once you're in a high energetic state, the maca powder and the MCT oil, because one is a very short chain fatty acid. What that means, it's the equivalent of fruit for fat. So when fruit goes into your body, it dissolves very quickly, the glucose. So does the MCT oil. So it helps replenish you after a hard workout. And the maca powder is supposed to do the same thing. I combine them in 16 ounces of water together and drink. It's not really chalky or anything. It has kind of a peanutty flavor. So those are my pillars of nutrition. Again, when it comes to your proteins, make sure that all of your proteins are organic. That means that the animal ate organic. They were not shot up with antibiotics. Therefore, whatever they're made of is whatever they're made of. And that's what's going in your body, instead of them eating corn-based diets and having all these other chemicals in them via the antibiotics in order to make them fatter and tastier. You want to taste the food the way that it is. It's not good that your mind is hooked on an artificial taste. It leads to poor health and all that residual stuff in your body, and then next thing you know, you're taking all type of detoxes and all that kind of stuff. So clean proteins. When it comes to your fruit and vegetables, I buy organic, clean organic foods, not sprayed with pesticides and not boosted for growth. Also, when it comes to your fats, you can cook in butter, as long as it's all natural. The lower end that you buy on stuff like that, the lower end that you get on quality. If you're gonna spend money on anything, it should be your health, and that's just me. When it comes to also cooking in your fats, the preferred are olive oil, avocado oil. Also, don't go cheap on that either. Make sure that you know where these things are sourced. You don't want to get stuff that's made out of the country. You don't know what their process is for making sure that product is clean, that it's good for human consumption. So when I buy my olive oils, I make sure this one is sourced in California. My avocado oil is sourced from Tucker, Georgia. That's even better. That's in the US. Another little tidbit. Again, all of this information will be detailed in the Word document with the grocery list. So thank you for listening to my nutrition spiel. Again, I want to reiterate, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a doctor. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not certified in anything, but eating this way has helped me, and it will.